So you're probably wondering how I got into this situation. It all started in 2020 when Rlcs Season 9 was announced to be in Dallas. As an aspiring player, I was so excited that Worlds would be within 2 hours of my house. I managed to get tickets for both myself and my former teammate and close friend Sharky. He got his flight details booked, but then the worst case scenario came about. Worlds was canceled due to COVID-19. We were distraught. Thankfully, they refunded all of the tickets, but it didn't make up for the sheer disappointment we felt. Now we flash forward to the spring split at the start of 2022. Everyone was casually watching the event, as fans do, but all of a sudden, the screen changed. The announcement was made. Worlds was back in Dallas for the 2021 to 2022 main event. I instantly messaged Sharky, as well as 2 other friends, and we were very excited. After a well-fought battle to get tickets, I managed to get us 4 tickets together at the bottom of section 124, right by the action. Next was the waiting game. Going to Worlds was the only thing I could think about all summer. I bought the tickets at the beginning of June and had to wait until the start of August to attend. The wait was long, but my excitement never dwindled. I made my drive to my mom's house to spend time with her on the 6th, but I couldn't enter the venue until the 12th. I visited some amazing people in Arlington who hosted watch parties while we waited for our turn to enter the venue. On the 11th, I was able to pick up my friends from the airport and check into our Airbnb. We were 1 day away from watching history be made. We woke up bright and early to attend a breakfast hosted by Version 1 on Friday the 12th. The breakfast was from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., so we decided to get there around 8:30. The line was already tremendously long when we got there, so we were stuck playing the waiting game. The hat that I wore was attracting attention from everyone, so much that I got to talk to Calm's parents, Chrissy, tons of attendees, and even got interviewed in front of a camera by Lawler. We managed to sit down and order breakfast right at 10, so we had to quickly eat and make our way across the street to enter the arena. Going into the venue was nothing short of mesmerizing. We made our way to our seats and stood in silence while we admired the atmosphere. Since we were early to the venue, there was a gap before the matches started, but that didn't bother anyone. We were ecstatic to be there and ready to watch the highest caliber Rocket League from a mere 40 feet away. Then, the lights faded, and Stax welcomed us to the venue. It was game time.
Esports' greatest fans, and we are here now to make up for lost time and to once again crown a world champion. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. This is finally the World Championship, and this is Rocket League!
The first match was the club versus Dignitas, the 4th seed from Europe versus the 3rd seed from South America. For the first time in history, the North American crowd was cheering for Dignitas. As a longtime fan, this was nothing short of surprising. However, as the series went on, the club began to show their true colors and ended up taking the series 4-2. Dignitas had already fallen.
It is impossible right now. The club is going to win this. Crowd knows it, and the guys from the Dignitas trying to do anything, but it's not possible. Lars will put it on the net just for fun, and now the club wins this match. South America, stand up. The club move on. Dignitas are out.
The next match was Optic Gaming versus Carmine Corp. K-Corp had swept Optic in Wildcard, so the outcome of this match was expected. However, the difference was that the crowd had tripled in size since the Wildcard. This was not enough for Optic, however, and Carmine Corp took the series 4-2 once again.
Achi plays it across. They may have a chance here. Miss, no, denied again. Optic out of boost, out of time, and out of the World Championship. Carmine Corp do it. That's it. And that goal will
first 2 hours of attending the event, Optic Gaming and Dignitas, two large names in the esports scene, had been knocked out. At this point, all of the viewers knew that this would be a brutal weekend. The next series was an utter blowout. Space Station walked over Endpoint and ended their run. The crowd was adoring Space Station, cheering on Laniel and RC Baby, and they were backing it up.
Once again from Arsenal, exact touches that he and his teammates needed as they go for these pre-jumps. The crowd, they're counting down, ringing out around them. Space Station Gaming make it to the top 12 with a clean sweep against Endpoint.
Pull out the brooms. Space Station Gaming is here to play and clean up
The next match, NRG versus Renegades, was a bit of a scare. If you've watched Rocket League esports for long enough, you know how horrific NRG's track record is against Oceanic teams. However, NRG was here to change that. In a very well-fought series, NRG was able to take it 4-2 and move on to the next round.
Justin Garrett Squishy moving on in the tournament. Renegades going home.
Your defending world champions are still here, and they're here to play. A fantastic ending performance here, 4-2 over the Renegades.
And credit to the Renegades, they did not let up. The defensive stand that we saw Kami getting that save.
However, that's not where the series ended. Right after the series had come to a conclusion, the announcement was made.
We've got one last thing before we head off. It's been great seeing you guys here. It was a great performance. But CJ, I know we've got a bit of an announcement to make. What's happening?
Yeah, obviously the boys knew while out, mum and dad are here, but yeah, I just played my my last event, so.
It's been an honor of my life. And you can see the impact you've had on the crowds, on all of us, and we've made something special for you.
After the event, Space Station Gaming announced that they were holding a party, so naturally I brought my friends to it. We miraculously beat the crowd and made it inside the building. We briefly saw Daniel, Reynolds, and Arsenal while waiting in line to buy some merch. They provided energy drinks and pizza, as well as allowed players to 1v1 in a King of the Hill format. We left fairly quickly to give more fans the opportunity to experience what we were able to. We went to dinner and Topgolf before making our way back to the Airbnb and getting some necessary sleep before day number 2. The matches that took place during day 2 were the lower bracket qualifiers for the playoffs, meaning that each team could either win and make it to day 3 or finish their tournament at top 12. The first match of the day was not what anyone expected. The matchup between Furia and the club was expected to be extremely one-sided, but the players from the club were playing fantastic. The series was the first Game 7 of the weekend, but Furia still ended up taking it in the final game on Champions Field.
And now KB1, leave it to Lost. Lost con el drible, va por el balón. Lost intenta hacer el tiro, pero no puede ser. La bola cayendo al suelo en este momento. Kurt la deja arriba. Viene KB1, hace el centro para Lost. Lost con el disparo hacia la portería contra todo el mundo. ¡Lo va a conseguir! ¡No!
South America, thank you. Excellent.
The next match between Semper and NRG was unique to say the least. Prior to this match, it was announced that both Chaussette and Exotic tested positive for COVID-19, meaning they had to play from their hotel. While they still played fine, it was clear that playing remotely was hindering their energy, and NRG took the series 4-1, to make it to the playoffs.
Final countdown for Sepper. Denied by Squishy at the center line. Dickey's Arena counting down. NRG's trip to championship Sunday is complete.
The General NRG secure a top 8 performance, move on to the playoffs.
After this match, the Ford Freestyle halftime show. Unfortunately, the crowd was not as interested in the event, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It gave the freestyling community the main stage for once, which is extremely well deserved. Personally, I hope that they'll continue bringing exposure to the freestyle community, because I love to see the new faces that are put on the screen and given time to shine.
The reset, it's the target, but it just drops low. Faith, his hands that go on his face. What is he thinking right now? That was so close to one of the best shots we've seen so far. It has been skipped. We can confirm that Faith on the blue side of the Ford Freestyle Invitational has come in first place. He will be taking home the grand prize of 50.
The next match between Karmine Corp and Team Falcons was an absolute heartbreaker. Everyone wanted to see Team Falcons represent Saudi Arabia in the playoffs, but unfortunately, they weren't playing at their best, and they were knocked down in 6 games.
Back post rotation, and the ball just hits his card. Don't know who he's there.
They've done it!
He stands up, pops off. I mean, go for it, Astor. You make a read like that, that's insane.
At the start of the series, I was actually given the opportunity to cast a 1v1 match at the Dignitas booth, which was a fantastic experience. The audience loved the casting. I even had multiple people come up to me after asking for my contact information. The final match of day number 2 was a horrible day for North America. Before the match had even started, everyone was sitting in their seats. Version 1 versus Space Station. The matchup between the two teams that had the most events for fans would eliminate one of the teams from championship contention. The series was extremely shaky for Space Station, but the crowd was absolutely torn. In the end, Version 1 ended up taking the series in 6 and knocked Space Station out at top 12. Now, the stage was set, and it was very clear that there would be no easy matches. The only guarantee was that the grand finals would consist of the best team from North America versus the best team from Europe and South America.
Able to thrive, but can they put Space Station down? The shot denied! Beast mode! Goal! Houston, we have a problem! Space Station have been grounded! Version 1 to the playoffs! It's the man to step up for Version 1!
After an action-packed weekend, we had arrived at the final frontier. 7 best of 7s to be played consecutively for the entirety of Sunday. The day started with Version 1 versus FaZe Clan. Version 1 were the favorites going into this game, but that soon changed. FaZe took it all the way to Game 7 and ended Version 1's championship contention at top 8.
For FaZe Clan, he's boomed out the way. Torment puts it only across his goal line. Version 1 needs so much more. FaZe Clan just have to hold. Each second will feel like an eternity. Can they manage it? Not quite yet. Here is going the corner. It's dangerous. First killer has to avoid the fight and does. FaZe Clan are your first semi-finalists. They've made it through. It's gone all the way. And maybe FaZe Clan will too. Continuing the trend, we have now got 54.
The second match consisted of a classic North American rivalry, NRG versus G2. While most people knew G2 were on track to win the match, that did not stop the crowd from being split. G2 squashed NRG in 5 games and effectively ended the rivalry, cementing themselves as a top 2 North American team.
And the World Championship reign is all over. G2 gets FaZe in the semis.
We will crown a new champion in the Dickies Arena.
Tell you what, every time you see a champion on their last legs, they get that second wind, that sudden burst of energy. We saw it there.
Traveling to the east, it was time for the first European face-off, Karmine Corp versus Team BDS. The crowd was not impressed by this series, despite it going the distance, and it was because of what was to come after.
To get control of this ball, even better, they can get it in the back of the net. It's not going to happen there, so the ball stays high. Astra with a good clearance, Extra is there as well. Nolly's waiting for it, that's all he can do. It catches up against Seiko. Does he have the does he have the ability?
He's
does
still
he have
there.
the mechanics?
No.
He keeps it up even more.
Nolly!
Monkey
It's
Astro keeps it up in the air again.
It's still there.
Astro up against Seiko. Seiko just puts his foot on the brake for a second and slows things down.
We're going
Astro
again.
Monkey Moon, it's on the floor. The champions elect survive an absolute gauntlet from Karmine Corp. Team BDS are your semi-finalists.
The Moist Esports versus Furia match was by far the best series of the tournament and unarguably one of the best series of all time. The crowd was the most torn it had ever been, but Moist were the favorites. A very well-fought series took it to Champions Field once again, but there's a small caveat here. Moist had never lost a Game 7. However, this tournament made history in more ways than one.
Kyle now looking for the back one. That's so awkward though. Kyle bumps it off. Now comes the follow. Into the back of the net. To it. We keep going.
Glory for Jan! Glory for Furia! They will not sit down!
You were calling him. You wanted to see the goal from Yanks. He is here when they needed him the most.
15 seconds. Joyo with Vatira in midfield. Jan intercepts. Jan wins the challenge, but Vatira helps. He keeps it away. Moist did not let this drop earlier on. Now they're up against it. Furia! Have they done it? 2 seconds. 2 seconds is all they need.
He does it for Brazil! He's done it for you at home! Moist, where are you at?
1 second left. Jojo going for the ball. Caio shut him down. And Furia wins.
Moist Esports fell to Furia in the final moments of the game with the most exciting play of the tournament. Now, the Battle of North America was to ensue. FaZe Clan versus G2 had a clear favorite, but the FaZe fans weren't settling for G2 moving on to the grand finals. The energy, however, was all in G2's hands. The crowd roaring after each G2 goal, and they were able to close out the series 4-2.
Counting FaZe out of the World Championship, and they get one more. A late Christmas gift with only 4 seconds left.
The pressure, just too much for FaZe Clan.
G2.
They literally made FaZe Clan tap out from the pressure. 3 seconds, 2, 1. G2 gets another shot at a World Championship. They take down.
The next match, a toss-up. The fans wanted Furia to face G2 in the grand finals after their series against Moist, but Team BDS showed no signs of slowing down from the dominant series they had against K-Corp. Furia took the first 2 games and looked fantastic. But the infamous Team BDS timeout changed it all. They ended up taking the next 4 consecutive games, shutting down the crowd's energy and moving on to the final battle.
One of the greatest timeouts ever called. BDS demolish Furia. Ladies and gentlemen, your grand finals, G2 BDS. It was Queso in LA.
It's simple to imagine who the Texas crowd would cheer for in a matchup between G2 Esports and Team BDS. The crowd was screaming for G2, and G2 were doing their best to use that energy like they did against FaZe. However, not all tales can come to a happy ending. BDS continued their dominance and showed that they can also perform in a LAN environment, not just online. They stomped G2 in a 4-1 series and cemented themselves as world champions.
No more questions that can be asked of this legendary Team BDS squad. 12 seconds, it might as well be a victory lap around Wasteland Night. Seiko around the corner. G2 to the scrapyard. Team BDS to the hall. Your world champions. Team BDS stands alone at the top of the world.
Legends in the making. Now, legends made.
No more questions. The book is complete.
However, the story was not limited to game outcomes. During my time at the event, I was able to meet so many amazing people. While I didn't take the time to meet players, they did have their own meetups. As a growing caster and content creator in the Rocket League community, I wanted to spend my time meeting fellow casters and creators and have conversations with them. This was my second Rocket League event, with my first one being the DreamHack Dallas Pro Circuit in 2019, and this one was by far my favorite. I had so many people complimenting my hat and making me feel welcomed in the community. You've probably heard the line from Athena's song Moment that goes, "This is your moment." It sounds cliche to say, but going to events is all about making it your own. It's more than just watching video games, but it's watching them as a community. If you ever find the opportunity to go to one of these events, don't just show up to attend, show up to thrive. If you have any questions about my experience at Worlds, feel free to drop them in the comments below, or you can ask me live over on my Twitch streams at twitch.tv/JAYY_08. I'm extremely close to 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube and would love some support to get me there. And I hope to see all of you again, as that's all I have for now. So remember moving forward that it's all about you. Make as many aspects of your life as possible your moment, as that's how life is intended to be lived.